Thank you, Chicago. Make some noise. Let me hear you guys. There we go. That's what we like to hear. Good to see everybody. I wanted to film my special. It's my very first special, which puts a lot of pressure on y'all. It's my very first special, and so I wanted to do something cool, wanted to do something unique, so I'm like, I know I'm gonna film it in a rock club. I love rock and roll music, I love Zeppelin, Skynyrd, all the modern bands, and I got a comedy club that would be in like the movie Demolition Man, and I could not be happier. And I do have some good news to report right off the bat. You guys hear Applebees is bringing back the $1 Long Island iced tea. Yes! The cheapest DUI in town is back. You want to take a tour of your local prison? $4. Look, I'm all for drinking yourself to death like Nicolas Cage and leaving Las Vegas, but it should cost you more than $6 to accomplish that feat. How many guys do you think get drunk at Applebee's, get arrested, and then they use their one phone call in jail to call the Applebee's? I left my credit card. Can somebody pick it up? That's just scary, man. Folks, look, in life there are good deals and then there are discounts that are dangerous. You're never gonna walk into a pet store like, hey, all snakes, $1. Have at it. The kids seem to like the ones that rattle, so maybe pick one of those. That's a different level of drunk now. Applebee's drunk, like a normal drunk, you go out. Some of y'all are probably normal drunk right now. I'm normal drunk right now, you know? You go out, you have a few beers, your night, you wind up at Denny's. Applebee's drunk, you wind up in a different country. Normal drunk, you go out, you pass out on your buddy's couch. Applebee's drunk, you pass out in the middle of the forest, all your friends are dead. And I like to eat, I like to drink, which clearly means I picked the right town to tape my special in, right here in Chicago. This is where you do it. I've been training for this thing for a long time, too. I've been doing stand-up, obviously, but then I wanted to physically prepare myself to look great on camera. And so I've been working out with a trainer the last 3 months. I was gaining muscle mass, losing body fat. 2 days in Chicago, it's all done. We're right back to square one. I had an ab, guys. In LA, I had an ab. You couldn't see it all the time, and I didn't say abs, I said one ab. Of the 6, it was the one right up here. I have like a little window in my bathroom because who wouldn't want to look? And you get out of the shower at a certain point and you stare in the mirror, and if the light comes through and you put the staff of Ra right here and the light shines in, you can see the ab. And that's gone now. 38-year-old disciplined Mark Ellis got on a plane at LAX. And when that plane landed at O'Hare, deep planing was a very different person. It was no longer the adult Mark Ellis, it was the 11-year-old chubby Mark Ellis. Like, I like queso, popcorn, nuts on Clark, nuts on Clark. I'm trying everything in your city. I cannot say no to pizza. I love all kinds of pizza. I'm not a picky person when it comes to pizza eating. I'll do anything. I'll do delivery, I'll do frozen. I will take 9 bagel bites and form one giant slice. Gimmick pizzas ruin me. It doesn't matter what the gimmick is, I'm going to buy it. I remember being a chubby little kid and seeing the first ad for Pizza Hut stuffed crust. Oh, as a fat kid, that was like our Beatles on Ed Sullivan moment. Everything changed that night. The grass was greener, flowers smelled sweeter, the diabetes was more type A. It was a good day. I saw a commercial for a bacon cheeseburger pizza, and like clockwork, I can't even help it. My hand just grabs my phone. Hey, it's me, send it. You know where to send it. Like, it's gotten so bad. My friends, they won't even let me into a conversation about pizza. Because my friends are passionate. They'll be arguing like New York versus Sicilian. I come walking in. You guys see that guy who can fold all those boxes? You guys know if you order Papa John's and Domino's at the same exact time, the drivers have to joust? It's in the Bible and the Quran. It works both ways. It's true. The drivers have to joust, and the loser works at Little Caesars for the rest of his career. But I'm here in Chicago, and I like to do as the locals do wherever I am. So, like, if I'm in Kansas City, I'm gonna eat some ribs. If I'm in Nashville, I'm gonna listen to some country music. If I'm in Chicago, I'm gonna pay 2 guys to beat the shit out of me, because that's what you do. Jussie Smollett's an actor, not a very convincing one. He's an actor who allegedly hired 2 guys to jump him. And it's like, dude, why would you hire 2 people to jump? You're in Chicago. If nobody's mugging you, wait 10 minutes. They're en route. And I get it. He just wanted attention. He just wanted sympathy, and we all want that. He wanted to get a better job. I've had jobs that are so bad, I would actually take the beating over the job. You ever have those jobs, like you walk in and you're thinking it's like Tuesday morning, you're just going over all that stack of papers on your desk, and right before you get to the front door, you're like, I just wish someone would come and pistol whip me right now. Just do it. I don't want to be filing reports. I want to be laying in bed collecting cards. I want get well cards. Not get well soon cards, get well cards, because I intend to take my sweet-ass time healing from these injuries. And if that joke offends you, if you guys want to at me, you want to complain, you don't have to worry about it. Karma already took care of the job, because not a week had gone by when I was doing that joke. What happened? My face got attacked. I had my own facial wounds. You can still probably see it right here. So I got mine done for free. Here's what happened. I'm the co-owner of a dog. She's a half beagle, half Boston Terrier named Molly. She is fantastic. She is the best. She just lets me borrow her Instagram handle once in a while. So the way that I come by Molly is that she belongs to my ex-girlfriend. Now, my ex-girlfriend and I are still really good friends, and Molly and I are still best pals, so that makes me the dog stepfather. I get to be the stepfather of this beautiful dog. And being a dog stepdad is a lot like being a kid stepdad. It's the same thing. You come in, they're already done with potty training. So the only rule you have to adhere to is as soon as you're done having sex with a mom, you give them a treat, and all is good. So Molly and I, we go to the dog park all the time, and it's great. Now, Molly was not in this particular fracas. Molly, as soon as she goes to the dog park, she doesn't really want to talk to other dogs. She's done sniffing butts. She just wants to go around the perimeter. Like, she walks around the outer perimeter of the dog park like she's Tim Robbins in Shawshank, like, casing the joint for some sort of weakness. And these 2 big dogs started getting at it, and I saw it, and I'm like, you know what? I can break this up with my hands. Let's see how my face does. And I got right in there, and a dog took a chunk out of my face, and it really hurt. And it's such a sad realization knowing you are not gonna be on Tiger Beat this particular month. It's rough, man. But the scariest part about being bit by a giant dog, it's not the pain, it's not the aftermath when you're bleeding. The scariest part about being bit by a giant canine is the next night, it was a full moon. Yeah, that's not cool. Like, I've seen a lot of movies, and I'm driving home, and the clouds part, and I see the moon, and I'm like, wait, am I itchy because of allergies, or is something else going on here? Yo, I raced home, I run into my apartment. Now, I don't own any silver bullets, but I drink a lot of Coors Light. So, I run in, chug a 6-pack, I blast Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, and I healed myself of my werewolf tendencies. And that's what you got to do, man. You got to take the law into your own hands there, because you do not want to become a werewolf. If you become a werewolf, what's going to happen is you go crazy, you get all hairy, you run around, you attack people, you kill some people, you wake up in the woods the next day, you lean over, there's a guy there. Dude, what do you do? I don't know, man. I went to Applebees last night, and this happened. Oh, I love my job. I love traveling. I travel around a lot. People make the misconception about comics that we're on tour, and sometimes we'll brag about it like, hey, I'm going out on tour. Comics don't really ever tour. Rock stars, hip-hop artists, they go on tour. Comics, we're just in Jacksonville. Like, our tours don't have cool names. This isn't the Mark Ellis Invasion Tour. This is the let's see if Mark pays his rent again this month tour. I was paying my rent a couple months ago. I was in Indiana doing a college because success. And I was doing Valparaiso College, and I get in there, and I stayed at a hotel. I've never had the walls this thin in my entire life. And I'm staying there. I'm not going to name the hotel, but let's say if you were going on a holiday, this is an inn you want to avoid. Staying there, and I can hear people having sex above me. I can hear people having sex below me. I can feel people having sex right next to me. Yes, sir, old Mark Ellis was trapped in an Indiana fuck queue. And then I got to go do a show the next day. I got to do a college show, and the kids are great. They were awesome. It was like 300 kids there. So afterwards, we're doing the meet and greet, and I'm taking pictures with the 8 of them that stuck around. And they all came up, they all asked me the same question. They said, hey, are you going to go to the chocolate factory? And I'm like, what is the chocolate factory? I think I might have heard some people going to the chocolate factory last night. I don't know what the term meant. I don't know if it's some colloquial Midwestern thing like, yeah, I hear he's taking her to the chocolate factory tonight. But no, apparently outside Valpo, there's like one of the more recognized chocolate factories in the United States, which is cool, except I am way too old to want to go to a chocolate factory. Because I'm an adult. Now, these college kids, they're wide-eyed, they're excited. They haven't seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory like I have seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Because when you're a little kid and you watch that movie, you think, wow, look at how much fun a chocolate factory would be. As an adult, you watch that movie and you realize none of those kids made it out of that factory alive. The only one that escaped with his life was Charlie Bucket, and he got the worst deal out of any of them. Charlie and Willie and Grandpa Joe take off in an elevator that has never been tested before. And Willie offers him in an elevator, so it's not like Charlie can say no. Willie says, you know what, Charlie, you get the keys to the factory. It's yours. Because what 13-year-old wouldn't want a factory job for the rest of his life? Wonka was running that place like the Fire Festival. Here's the keys, I am gone. Have fun with the investigation, I'm going to Aruba. So I did not go to the chocolate factory. I went to a nearby bar, and I had myself some fizzy lifting drinks. And I got nice, and I got drunk, and then I realized, hey, Mark, you're drunk. You know what it's time to do now? It's time to Uber your way back to your hotel. So I walk outside, pull up Uber, and I realize that Uber is a very different experience in Indiana. Because, I live in Chicago, I live in Los Angeles. You pull up your Uber here, and there's cars all around, and one of them is going to pick you up and take you home, right? Indiana, very different experience, because Uber in Indiana, that app, it's just a map. Randy is not awake, so you're walking home. And it's one of those moments of clarity you have, because you realize how much you rely on technology to take care of yourself. Like Uber, I trust that way too much. When you break it down, it's just an app on your phone. You hit a button, and some stranger in a Kia shows up. And we trust that person to give us a ride home. It's like, well, you knew my first name. I guess I'll show you where I sleep. Come on, it's this way. They have a new service that is introduced, and this is only in Southern California right now, and it's called Sober Scooter. Get ready to get creeped out. Listen to this. So let's say you're out drinking, right? You don't want to drive your car home, so you call Sober Scooter. That means somewhere else in town, there's a gaggle of dudes. And they all have a scooter. One of them gets the call, hops on their scooter, and rides their trusty steed to the bar where you are. You give them your car keys. You walk out your car, they put you in the passenger side, pop the trunk, put their scooter in your trunk, get in the driver's side, drive your drunk ass back to your own house in your own vehicle. Yeah, and if you think that's a good idea, you've never been stabbed. It's like if I tip him, does he come in and read me a bedtime story? You know what he does afterwards? He gets his scooter back and he goes home to grandma's basement to put on the skin of whatever client he had last week. That's an adult that rides a scooter, which means by definition, he sucks at driving a car. Society has deemed him worthy of 2 wheels and a helmet. That's it. I'm not letting Gary near my car. He's not getting near the Ford Fusion, I'll tell you that much. You heard me right, ladies. Ford Fusion. Yeah, sounds futuristic because I'm not getting laid in the future either. I've had 3 cars in my life. I had a 95 Honda Civic, you know, good starter car, the X-Wing of Earth. And then I upgraded to a Chrysler 300M, which had one previous owner, and her first name started with M and ended with Om. And then Junior finally stepped up and said, you know what, I'm gonna get my car, I'm gonna go lease a Ford Fusion. And so I put on a watch and a collared shirt so the guy thinks I'm employed, and I show up. Lies were told, credit reports fabricated. I got the lease. Walk out to the car. First thing he shows me in the new car, he doesn't show me any of the cool stuff inside. Because inside the car, it's amazing. You can name your car whatever you want, and your car will respond to the name you give it. I drive around, and I tell Commissioner Gordon to play Hot for Teacher, and he'll do it. Problem was, he didn't show me that. First thing he does is he takes me around back and he pops the trunk and he's like, dude, check this out. Inside the trunk, there's a handle you can pull in case you get locked in your trunk. Get on in there, man. Try it out. Plenty of room for you and your scooter. You're gonna have a good time in that trunk. And I bought the Ford Fusion. I like the car fine, but there's a lot of pressure because I'm originally from the South. And anytime you're from the South, you're gonna have redneck friends, who I love. But redneck friends, they always make you buy American. Doesn't matter what you're buying. It could be gum, refrigerator, Indian food. That shit better be made right here. Told my boys back home I'm getting a new car. That's when they perk up. They're like, oh, you're gonna buy American, right? And if you balk, like 3 more of them come out of the bushes. Did he say American already? Is he gonna buy American? So I did. I went out there. I bought a Ford Fusion, okay? That's a car made right here in the United States of America by legal aliens using foreign parts. It was made right here. And I feel like I can claim the South. I was born in North Carolina, grew up mainly in Virginia, which it's like the good South. We like fireworks, we can read. It's a good mix of the two. And when I say read, you guys know I mean watch vids on YouTube. It's the same thing. But now our family's all spread out because I live in California. My mom, my sister, they're back in Virginia. My brother's up in Seattle. So we're all spread out, which is great for me because in my family, my role, simple. I got the best job. I am an uncle. I'm an uncle, and being an uncle is easy because being an uncle means you come to town once a year and you get to be cool. You get to be that uncle. You blow into town, you bring them some presents, you tell some funny stories, you get out of Dodge, they think you are awesome. Remember when you were a kid how cool you thought your uncle was? You didn't know that Uncle Bob lived on a houseboat and didn't pay his taxes. You had no idea. I love being an uncle. Being an uncle is like if Guy Fieri was a person. Like, that's how cool it is. I'm not making fun of Guy Fieri because, trust me, uncles, that's like our L. Ron Hubbard. We love that guy. Guy Fieri is the ultimate uncle because he does what every uncle dreams of. Anytime you see Guy Fieri on TV, what's he doing? He comes into town, he's driving some badass sports car, cranking 80s rock. The local's like, hey, Guy. He tells some funny stories, he cooks for him. Next morning, Guy gets the hell out of town. And the local's like, come back soon, Guy. That's what uncles want. You don't visit us. You do not come visit the uncles. Uncles, we come to you. You cannot visit Guy because Flavortown is not a place, it's a state of mind. Some great things that happen once you become an uncle. For instance, did you guys know once you become an uncle, you never have to buy flip-flops again? They're automatically there. Every room, it's like magic. It's like the Tim Allen Santa Claus movie. To become an uncle, I had to push another one off the roof. And now every morning I wake up, whether I like it or not, I got gas station sunglasses, croakies, and a federal booby inspector shirt. I found out I was going to be an uncle because 4 years ago, I got a text message from my brother. And all it said was, hey, Kate's pregnant. And so I did what any good older brother should do. I wrote him back, is it yours? Yeah, you gotta make sure. No, I didn't realize her whole family was also CC'd on the text message. There's certain things that the sunglasses emoji does not cover up. But that's how my family communicates. Now, it's all done by text chain. It's all the same 3 things. It's either recipes, gardening tips, or pictures of the kids. And I love seeing pics of the kids, but if you're a parent out here, I have a memo for you. From the rest of us, we don't need to see the bathtub ones. Okay? I know every kid, you see he's there in the bathtub and it's so cute. Keep that shit to yourself, okay? To you, it's adorable. To me, it's a felony. I don't want it on my phone. All right? I want to see a picture of the kiddo, not have myself on a federal watch list, okay? If you're a parent, you upload that to Instagram, it's 20 likes. If I upload it, it's 20 years. No, thank you. I don't need that stuff in my life. And I know being a parent's tough. I know being a parent, there's so much responsibility. You have to clothe it, you have to feed it, you have to hug it. You probably stop calling it after some point in its life. And I don't want to go through any of that. And I think it's tougher today. There's some things that have made parenting easier, like medicine, Blue's Clues. There's some ways that it's cooler. But it's tougher now to discipline your kids because you can't do what you used to be able to do to discipline kids. Try to spank a kid today. See what happens. You try to spank a kid today, they're going to tell on you. Yeah, they're going to find a neighbor, a teacher, a news crew. They're going to rat your ass out. Back when I was a kid, the spanking was in play. The spank was a possibility. Now, the story goes in my family that there's 3 kids, an older sister, younger brother, and me, the middle one. Only one of us ever got spanked, and it only happened one time, and it's from the guy that's talking to you right now. What happened was that I got spanked, and my dad apparently felt so bad about the spanking, he could never lay a hand on any one of us ever again. Yeah, we didn't know that. So the threat was still there. All he had to do is like this, and we're like, all right, well, and if we didn't shut up then, all my dad did, he'd grab his belt buckle. And we're like, what is happening now? Is he taking his pants off? This just got creepy, dude. What? Got even more, we were on the road trip. Remember the road trip with your family? Discipline at 80 miles an hour on the highway? I was an Air Force brat, so you move around all the time. Every road trip, same situation. Dad drives, mom's in the passenger seat, 3 kids in the back. Now, as soon as the road trip began, mom passes out. Something about spending time with us made her sleepy, so she's done. So now dad's got to do everything, right? He's got to do all the driving, the navigating, and the parenting. And this is back before the GPS days, so he had like a map folded like over here, cranking an Arby's beef and cheddar in this hand, and he's trying to drive. So if we got loud in the back seat, first thing my dad did, never yelled at us right away. First thing my dad did is he got really quiet, focused, like he's planning what he's going to tell the cops after this bloodbath ensues. And then if it got louder, that's when it got physical. That's when you'd see dad driving with this hand, and then this hand comes off the wheel. This hand grabs the wheel, so this one is free to just hit whatever he can find in the back seat. My dad always had a bad rotator cuff, and now I know why. It's like this. And that was always cool with me and my older sister, because we always made my little brother ride bitch. As soon as that hand came up, we're like, get in there, Robbie, learn some life lessons. That was the only time my sister and I ever really teamed up as kids. We're cool now, we love each other, but back then, we were at odds most of the time except for the road trip. That was the only time we colluded together. It was like 2 sovereign nations teaming up to get a common enemy. It's like if Japan and China team up to get North Korea. Or if the United States and Russia team up to get the American people. It's like that. But if that didn't shut us up, my dad would shift to phase 3. Now, phase 3, this is the all-time dad threat on the road trip. That's what he would say. If you kids don't shut up right now, I'm gonna pull this car over. The side of the road. And just to reinforce it, he'd pull over to the grate a little bit. And we're like, oh, he's doing it, he's doing it. He said, I'll pull this car over, yank you out, line you up on the side, spank each one of you in broad daylight. And if you saw that happen today, somebody else on the road is gonna call child services. But back when I was a kid, other cars would see that and start honking their horns. Bram, bram, use your belt, it's more fun. The police would be driving by. Like, dude, that's awesome. You wanna borrow my nightstick, some pepper spray, you good? Sober scooter comes by. Can I play with those kids after you're done? I love my dad, though, man. I consider my dad to be my all-time best friend. My dad passed away a few years ago, around this time, but he's my all-time hero. He's my best friend. I know that he's up there watching over me, everything I do, except, like, shower, because that'd be a little creepy, right? I don't know how it works, but I'm pretty sure when I go to the bathroom, he goes outside and plays catch with John Lennon. I'm really spitballing ideas, hopes, really. My dad always had this catchphrase that he would always say, proud of you, boy. If I did something good, he didn't have to use it much, but when he did, you know, you get a good grade on a test, or I had a good basketball game, he'd say, I'm proud of you, boy. proud of you, boy. And I've always tried to make him proud. So one of the things I love doing as a comic, it gives me the great privilege to entertain our troops. I just got back from a USO tour overseas, and I was in Jordan. You go near Syria, near Iraq, and it's amazing. It's eye-opening to be over there because this is the military. Like, they're willing to go overseas and defend our freedom. Me, I will fake being sick to get out of playing paintball. But once you get over there, you do the show for the truth, they love it, and then they take you around. They're like, yeah, let's show you what we do for a living. And I'm all about it. Like, I got to put on the suit from the Hurt Locker, which is like such a shitty way to say it. Because it's not from the movie. It's not like we went to the Smithsonian. I'm like, that's the one? It's like, these are real things. These are things that people do. They get me in the suit, and the suit weighs like 100 pounds. You put on the helmet, it's like another 30 pounds. And I look to him after I have it on. I'm like, all right, let's do some push-ups, boys. And I get down there. So 2 hours later, they revive me. And we move on to the next station. I love the next station because that's where all the German Shepherds are that will go after suspects. They'll like, you snap your fingers, they go run and charge them. And usually, I volunteer to put myself in the big rubber suit. Don't think that's gonna happen again. And then this trip, I got to do something I've never gotten to do before, and I was so thrilled. I got to meet a pilot. And you think, well, Mark, you don't meet pilots when you go do shows? No, the pilots are off somewhere else. They never come to the comedy shows because they're studying, or they're training, or they're playing volleyball. They are doing something important. But they take me out to the tarmac, and apparently this pilot is a fan of mine. And so I see an F-18 land. I didn't even know the Fs went that high. It lands, and it pulls into its parking spot? I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. And he pulls in, and then I start to get real intimidated because the cockpit opens, and emerging is this 7-foot-tall stallion. He was like 5'5", but to me, he's like 7 feet. Took his helmet off. He had short hair, but I just saw flowing locks. Like, for the grounds crew, this is a normal day. For me, I'm looking at a Fabio book cover. The guy gets off the plane, he climbs down the ladder, and he's walking towards me, and he's got the cool aviator shades, and he's got that confident, you know, I just flew a fucking airplane walk. And I get ready to shake his hand, and one of the grounds crew leans in, they're like, hey, his call sign is Moeller. And I'm like, Moeller? I was expecting a Maverick, an Iceman, Moeller, and then they say, yeah, they call him Moeller because the last time he was in a bar fight, he knocked the guy's teeth out. And keep in mind, this is like right before I'm like up here to meet Moeller. And Moeller comes in and he has that like alpha handshake where he just takes you straight down. You know? He's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh God, that's it. And I didn't know what I was gonna say to him because I'm excited to meet him, but then I hear this Moeller thing, and I'm like, did he fail out of dental school? Wait, what's the... And so this is the first words out of my mouth. He comes up, he's like, hey, I'm Moeller. And I went, flossing and flying. Moeller felt sorry for me. Puts his arm over my shoulder. He's like, hey, man, let me show you around the plane. So he shows me around the F-18, and I love everything I'm seeing, but then I get transfixed on one particular part. I'm right here. I'm looking up at a missile. Or if you're from Britain, it's called a missile. I'm looking right up there, and Moeller can see that I'm enamored with, or as he would say, enameled, with this missile. I'm looking at it, and so Moeller says, hey, let's get this guy a stepladder, and he's gonna autograph the missile. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna autograph. Do I go to hell for that? So they bring a stepladder, and Moeller, he just pulls a Sharpie out of one of his many pockets. I don't know if y'all know this, the military loves pockets. You seen those uniforms? Their code is like God, country, pockets, family. Takes a Sharpie out. He's like, here you go, man, autograph it. And so I'm thinking like, oh God, all these people are gathered around, waiting to see what the funny boy is gonna write on the missile. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? So I get up there, flossing and flying. That was my big opener. And then I signed my name, I drew some shark teeth, I put the Van Halen logo on it, and then I wrote, 4 out of 5 dentists recommend this missile. That was me. Hi, Moeller. And I should have dropped the mic there, but I kept going. The last thing I actually wrote on there was I put my Twitter handle on it. What kind of a douche puts a Twitter handle on a missile? Like, I'm thinking, if this thing's a dud, I'm gonna get some new followers out of it. Just get a tweet in the middle of the night, LOL, better luck next time. Some good news in the world, too. This happened a couple weeks ago. There's a 98-year-old woman that just graduated from college. 98. Somebody turned 94 and was like, I gotta get my life together. Where are you going on spring break? Heaven? College is supposed to be the best 4 years of your life, not the last 4 years of your life. Just think about it. When you're that old, you don't have to go to class, right? When you're in your 90s, you already live like a college kid. You have the same schedule. You get up, you get high, you watch The Price is Right, back to bed. That's it. Clock out, Mildred. Your day is complete. That's the greatest generation for you. She's in her 90s and still being productive. I'm 38. Cannot wait to get into a retirement home. You seen those ads on TV? I saw an ad for one the other day. I live in Los Angeles, and this place is in Florida. They're advertising 3,000 miles away because they know they can hook this guy. And I'm like, comes on late at night, and I'm watching, and I see this ad for this retirement home. I want everything I'm looking at. I want the bingo, the pudding, the bedpan. I want it all. End of the ad is the best part. The end of the ad, it says The Villages. And then their tagline, free golf for the rest of your life. And I'm like, that's awesome. And 5 minutes later, I'm like, it's a little cryptic too, isn't it? Is that a great deal, or are they just betting that Pop-Pop ain't gonna make it all 18 holes? Get up to the start, you're like, what's the back nine look like? No one's ever made it that far, we don't know. I did go to college. I did the college thing. I majored in communications. It was a total waste of Lori Loughlin's money. Because I think when you go to college, you go with one of two mindsets. You either go to college with a goal, or you go to college with an idea. Like, you go to college with a goal, you're like, I'm gonna be an accountant, I'm gonna be a lawyer, it's probably gonna come true for you. You go to college with an idea. I was like, maybe I'll be a doctor. That doesn't work out, I got comedy, hey! So I take biology, I take the intro to biology, and this is my very first semester. I'm not gonna tell you guys what I got on my first test, like I don't even remember, but my second test comes back from a scale of 0 to 100, and all it says on it says 53, ... nice improvement. And I saw that and I'm like, I better be hilarious because... And it's so funny that I get to like perform at colleges now and like kids listen to me. They ask me serious questions after the show. One kid asked me what should he major in? I'm like, I don't know. Do it, especially now, do what makes you happy, dude. If you've seen the state of the world, we could be gone tomorrow. Like it used to be like, oh, well, what's the future gonna hold? I don't know if we have a future, guys. We're having a good time in here. It could be the Book of Eli out there right now, okay? Biggest misconception that people have about comedians is that we love when a president like Donald Trump takes office because we get so much material. And that's true. We get a lot of material. But the problem is he's giving us a little too much. Like every day the guy invents a new way to be a moron. He's like the Thomas Edison of stupid. He just keeps developing new things. Like he's hung up on the past that last week he was giving Obama shit about his birth certificate again. He's like, oh, we never saw his birth certificate. Does anybody know where their birth certificate is? Come on, man. Does anybody have it framed above their fireplace? That was me, live birth, that was me. I get this, okay? If you voted for Trump in this room, I don't automatically think you're a racist or a sexist, okay? I like your odds, but I don't automatically think that. Because I'll admit, Hillary Clinton had shady shit going on too. Hillary Clinton deleted 30,000 emails. And I know she did it on purpose, because my mom's the same age as her, and she's never deleted one email in her entire life. We get hung up on the small stuff too. Like social media makes everything worse. They know I hate Trump, and so fans are like, oh, can you believe he did this? Can you believe he did that? Like that McDonald's thing. Clemson Tigers, the national championship football team, got invited to the White House to have dinner. Shockingly, they accepted. And they show up and everybody's like, can you believe Trump served at McDonald's? And I thought it was kind of cool. If Obama had done that, we'd all be like, this guy gets it. Yeah, this guy knows what the young people are into. And I'll be honest, if I'm having dinner with Trump, I want it to be fast food because I want that meal to go by as quickly as possible. We don't have time to waste on the small stuff. There's big issues right now in our country. Gun control, that's a huge issue, and I travel all over this place. I've been to every state. I see both sides of the argument, okay? I was in Michigan a few months ago. And Michigan, they love guns. Now, there's some people in Michigan that hate guns. There's other people in Michigan that literally cannot climax unless they're looking at the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment says we have the right to bear arms. It also says we have the right to form a militia if the government gets squirrely. I don't know if you guys have noticed, government's a little squirrely. And if you're honest with yourself, you say, okay, well, if I need a militia to protect me, I probably want the Michigan one. That's like the good one to be on their team. Like, I want the militia that likes Ted Nugent and RoboCop. Now, we have a militia in California. It's just two guys at Whole Foods with a bow and arrow. That's all we got. And I don't like guns. I wish we could ban guns. I just don't think it's realistic. You can't ban guns. You're never going to ban guns. It's a noble cause because people want to stop school shootings. So ban guns, not going to work. If you really want to stop school shootings, don't ban guns. Ban school. It's 2019, we don't need school anymore. I'm sorry, but we don't. It's all on your phone. I promise you. Every question, every answer, it's on your phone. And I think it's gonna make better adults because if you feel ostracized at school, you eliminate that. If you're a bully at school, you get rid of that false sense of empowerment. 90% of the stuff I learned in school, I don't use today. And that number would be higher, except I never learned how to do percentages. I went to Catholic school. Anybody go to Catholic school? Yeah? Some of you guys? I don't know how they did it at other schools, but they never acknowledged sex or drugs or alcohol, that like they were even like a thing, except for one day. I was in 7th grade, and your parents have to sign a permission slip. And that's the day. It's a 45-minute period when they're gonna teach you about sex and drugs. They're gonna get it all done and never mention it again. It was the funniest 45 minutes I've ever experienced in my entire life because it's taught by nuns. And so it's like we're all walking into the sex talk a little blind, you know? Nuns don't have sex because they say they're married to God, and old God ain't putting out. So they kicked off with sex, and the sex, God, it was, you have not laughed until you've seen a nun put a condom on a banana. And then they moved on to drugs, and drugs was great because they were teaching us about pot. They said, kids, don't smoke pot. Why not? What's pot? It's a gateway drug, right? It's a gateway drug. It leads to other things. Like what? Snacks, pussy, free guitar lessons. Yeah, I'm sure some of y'all probably get high, right? You get high, sir? Woo! This is so great because, like, I was clearly not looking at you. But you felt the nerves of your friend. You were excited to admit it. Your friend looked at me like I'm an undercover cop. Like, oh, I don't know. This would be the best sting operation of all time. I wasn't even a comedian. I just practiced stand-up for 10 years to get this motherfucker right here. This is all a lie, guys. I was at home having dinner with my wife and kids, and I got the call from the sergeant. He's there tonight. All right, fine. Honey, I gotta go. This could be the night. Just on stage doing my thing. Hey, who does drugs here? You? Get the fuck down. We got it. Get in there. I'm a comic. I don't do it. Which is weird, right? Like a comedian, what the hell do I have to do? A comic that doesn't smoke weed, that's like living in Wisconsin and being lactose intolerant. Because I believed what they taught us. And it's a lot safer than drinking when you break it down. It's a lot safer. Like, if you go home and you get high, what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? You get stoned, you watch Animal Planet, you learn some shit about turtles. But if you go home and you're drunk, and you watch Animal Planet, you better look out, because some crazy things are about to happen. Because you wake up the next day, you have no idea what went down. All of a sudden, you get an email from Expedia confirming your trip to the Galapagos Islands. You don't learn anything about turtles. There might be turtles in your place. There's turtles over here, there's bandanas over here, and you're like, I was gonna make Ninja Turtles last night. Holy shit. And whose scooter is this? How fucked up did we get last night? I trust you. I can tell you guys this story. I got high once in my life. I got high one time. I had a pot cookie. Anybody? Yeah. First bite of a pot cookie does not taste like a cookie. But, former fat kid, I know that if at first it doesn't taste like a cookie, keep investigating. And it's always as soon as you're done eating the cookie, that's when whoever made it starts freaking out. They're like, oh shit, you ate that whole thing by yourself? And I'm like, I had 3 by myself. What's the issue? I got so high that night, I wrote a term paper on why sharks and dolphins are the Israelis and Palestinians of the ocean. I'd already been out of college for 5 years. Just really stoned on a Tuesday. Like, people need to know this. This is important. But I say, dude, if pot's your thing, if alcohol's your thing, don't abuse it, but, you know, get out of your headspace a little bit, it's great. What I usually do for that, I watch movies. I love watching movies. I'm a big movie fan. I like talking about movies online, and I like getting responses, because 10% of the time they're positive. 60% of the time it's negative, and 30% of the time it's just some gift that I don't understand. So, and I love every category movie, every genre. I love watching every kind of movie, except I don't watch action movies. I don't watch them. I study action movies. I take notes for when this shit's gonna happen to me. Every action movie I think could happen to me. Like Die Hard. Die Hard's the best one for a reason, because we're all watching Die Hard at home, and we see a guy running around, stopping crime with no shoes on. And we look down, we're like, I got no shoes on too. I'm making fists with my toes right now. This is uncanny. Every action movie I think could be me. I saw the first Taken, and I wanted someone I know to get kidnapped. Some of them get dangerous because, like, I can go see a Fast and Furious movie in the theater. I should not be allowed to, because I take it too seriously. I see all those car chases happen on a giant screen for 2 hours, and then I immediately have to operate a motor vehicle. I get in, and I think I'm in the movie. I'm like racing people at the light, doing that hardcore shift. You never have to shift this hard. Unless your car is made by John Deere, you never have to shift this hard. And I drive an automatic. I'm just going from D to L. But I have to say, of all the movies I've ever seen, of all the movies I've ever loved, my favorite film franchise of all time, Star Wars. I love Star Wars. It's the best. Star Wars is the best. I can take so many lessons from a galaxy far, far away and apply them to my own life. I gain endless inspiration from those movies. They teach us so many valuable lessons, one of which is not the value of a human life. You go back to 1977, the very first one, Episode 4, A New Hope. They blow up a planet. To show the might of the Empire, they blow up an entire planet. 7 billion people die. 30 minutes later, we're having a medal ceremony. Did you have to kill an entire planet of people, George? Was anybody halfway through Star Wars, you're like, I'm not sure who I'm rooting for yet. This is... And then Force Awakens was even worse, because Force Awakens, they don't blow up one planet, they blew up 5! 35 billion people died. 20 minutes later, we're laughing because the Wookiee's cold. What was the meeting like with JJ and the other writing staff? He's like, okay, we gotta take this up a notch. Ideas. And one guy's like, how about we blow up 3 planets? And JJ's like, no! It's not enough death! So some other guy's like, JJ, I think I have a way for us to blow up 5 planets. 35 billion people. And JJ's like, can we put a lens flare in that? My most controversial Star Wars opinion, as some other people here may have as well, is that the best Star Wars movie, people debate it endlessly. Some people love the classic trilogy, some people love the prequels, other people get really high on meth and love the holiday special. But I am proud to say, and I'm saying it on camera right now, my favorite Star Wars movie of all time, Return of the Jedi. Yeah! It's the best one. You're saying no, sir, because you're high on drugs. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? Empire Strikes Back. I hear that a lot. And you're gonna throw your terms at me like, oh, it's cinema, story, acting. But my counter argument is very simple. Return of the Jedi is the best movie. Why? Because of 2 words. We won. We won. We did it. The thing that we were trying to do for 3 movies, we did it. We blew the thing up. Again. And this time we didn't have to kill 7 billion people. We lost a few pilots and an Ewok, but that's all that happened. That's what I want. I don't want to go through the struggle. I just want the victory. If you look at it in terms of an NFL team, Return of the Jedi, that's when we won the Super Bowl. The Empire Strikes Back, that's week 11 when we lost to the Bengals. Return of the Jedi, I want the good team to win. I want the bad team to lose. I want to blow up the Death Star. I want to drum on Stormtrooper helmets. I want Force Ghost getting drunk with Wedge. I want Lando getting a little too close to Princess Leia. I want Chewbacca hooking up with 2 Ewoks, and 9 months later they have kids and their names are Yub and Nub. That's what I want. So I'm single. I love that I said I'm single and some people in the crowd put their hands up like we're riding a really depressing, slow ride. I'm happy being single. I like being single. I love waking up every day and being like, am I gonna shower? Probably not. I went swimming a few days ago, so I'm good for the weekend. And I broke up, and your friends always act like they care when you break up, but they really just want to know the dirt. Your friends get so nosy. They always ask the same question. As soon as they hear you broke up, they're like, oh, man, are you okay? Who broke up with who? For a round of applause, how many people think I broke up with her? Where were you on that one, penalty box? You couldn't have showed up? I love this crowd for that reason, because y'all are like, look, I'll pay money to see this guy, but I'm not sacrificing my integrity by clapping at a moment that I don't feel is just. This guy just lectured us about Ewoks, and we're expected to believe he broke up with her. Well, I'll have everybody in this room know I didn't break up with her, she didn't break up with me. It was a mutual decision. Both her and her vibrator agreed. It was time. I think we moved in too quickly, because you always think it's gonna be perfect, like both your leases are gonna be up at the same exact time. You're skipping out, you meet on the street, hey, let's go find a place together. It's not it. My lease had just started, hers just ended, so she moved in with me, but she never really declared she was moving in. She just kind of Trojan horsed all her shit into my place. And as a guy, you don't know what's happening. You're just like, man, I'm getting laid a lot. She woke me up one morning, and she's like, hey, babe, it's picture hanging day. It's picture hanging day. And I'm like, is that a Canadian holiday? And I get it. For her, picture hanging day, it's like a celebration of 2 lives becoming one. For me, that's the day all my pictures find out you're not good enough to be on the wall anymore. Thanks for playing, Young Guns 2 poster. Into the closet you go. Down in a blaze of glory. But we're still good friends. We support each other for 2 reasons. 1, we really care about each other. And 2, she dabbles in witchcraft. You don't want to get on the wrong side of a Ouija board. Like, I don't believe in it, but I don't not believe in it. That was my 1 rule, is you cannot bring a Ouija board into my apartment. Because, like, just nobody's life has ever been improved by a Ouija board. You don't have any friends who are like, man, I was down and out, then I found Ouija. You're not gonna see Ray Liotta on a commercial. I tried everything to quit smoking. Then I started communicating with the afterlife. We'll hang out all the time. We talk. We talk about who we're hooking up with now. It's usually a one-sided conversation. But we do get to share custody of the dog. And this is a great story, because the dog lives with her. And so after I moved out, she had her first guy since me come over, and he spent the night. And guess who peed on the rug the next day? Besides me, guess who else peed on the rug? It's good times, man. And then My ex got me because she's like, yeah, I think Molly was just freaked out because the guy was so much bigger. So it makes sense. It's a good line. It's a good line. Give her credit for that one. She won. I think we're just in different times in our life, too, because I'm 38, she's 29. Very different places in your life. Because when you're a young lady and you're in your late 20s, you do everything, right? You go out, you go to concerts, you go to festivals. When you're a guy and you're my age, you go to the doctor. And for the first time, you have to take it seriously. You have to listen to what this guy's telling you. Everything he says, you're just looking at him like he's your high school basketball coach. Like, yes, sir, I will run through that wall. I went to a naturopathic doctor. Naturopathic is Latin for does not take health insurance. And got everything looked at head to toe, got the plumbing checked out. My test results came back. My doctor informed me that I'm in danger of having low testosterone, which you hear and you want to get pissed off, you just do not have the energy. It ain't there, so what upset me is afterwards, my doctor sat me down and he said, Mark, you have to accept the fact that you're approaching the end of your sexual peak. And I was like, that was my sexual peak? That's as good as it gets? Because when you're a kid, you hear one day you're gonna have a sexual peak. And in our heads, we're thinking, man, I'm gonna be on the top of a mountain. There's gonna be hot chicks everywhere. Yo, he pulled out a chart. He pulled out a chart. He's like, yeah, this is where a man has the majority of his sex. And I was like, sir, I brought my chart. No such mountain. I didn't have a sexual peak, it was just a long canyon. And there are no women there, it's just a bunch of tissues and magazines, a USB drive labeled tax returns. That was my sexual peak. And that's with a younger woman. Older women, that's a different thing. Because older women, what do you always hear about older women? You hear they're great in bed. And that's awesome. What worries me, how do you get that good? Because you start thinking about it, you're like, wait, nobody just wakes up to star of Cirque du Soleil. That takes years and years. It's intimidating. You hook up with an older woman, you go back to her place, and it feels like you're walking into old Yankee Stadium for the very first time. Because you're just thinking about all the greats that have played here before you. She's got jerseys retired in her living room. Sign above her bedroom door says, play like a champion today, and you're like, eh. And it's funny to think about how long life is, how quick life goes by, because now I've become the last single guy. Every group of friends, you all start out single, then one by one you start getting picked off. You get married, you have kids, then you have that one idiot friend left that never got it together. Ta-da! Michael Bublé with a drinking problem. This is him. All my friends are married now, and I still get to hang out with them, but it's a very different hang. Like, when you hang out with your married friends, you got one of two options. You either get to have, like, one beer at, like, 6:45, or it's the go crazy option. When she goes out of town, that's when you get a random phone call from one of your friends. Like, dude, I'm behind 7-Eleven with a bag of heroin. Get here, we got 48 hours. Get here right now. Let's figure out how to do this. But what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to stay single? Like, staying single, the technology's getting creepy. You know what I Googled the other day? Sex robots. Yeah, I Googled sex robot. When you Google sex robots, your Facebook ads change dramatically. And I'm not into sex robots for the simple reason I'm worried that a sex robot is gonna work a lot like a Fitbit. Like, as soon as you're done, it's gonna upload all your stats to Facebook. I don't want that. Your coworker's coming by the next day. Hey, Bob, 3 minutes, new record, well done. I don't want a sex robot because I'm worried that that's the way we all go down. You know? Like, think about it. Men don't really deserve sex robots. We don't treat human women all that well. How do you think we're gonna react with sex robots? Think we're gonna clean that thing after every use? Hell no. It's gonna go in the closet, come out, go in the closet, back and forth until the robot gets pissed off, had enough. One day you're gonna be having sex with that robot and its eye is gonna turn red, and Skynet has begun. That's how the revolution starts. I don't want it. I don't want it. I've never enjoyed mixing sex with technology. Like, even when I had the girlfriend, I'd be on the road for stand-up, and she would always want to, like, do naughty text. She'd send me pictures of herself in very compromising positions. You know, I see pictures of her boobs, and I'm like, that's awesome. And then I'm like, oh, no, now I have to respond. He's not going in the game. I've never sent a dick pic in my life on purpose. Sent one by accident one time. Here's what happened. I was depositing a check. On my phone. I didn't like walk into a bank like, hey, where's the cameras? You guys... So I was depositing it. You know how you do it on your phone? Like, I was in my apartment. It was 9 p.m., so the pant's been off for a number of hours now. And you lay the check on a flat surface, take a picture, flip it over, take another picture, hit send, and boom, $17 in your account the next day. So I do all those things, and right before I hit send, I see in the corner of the picture, Waldo. I found him. And you know when your brain like sends a signal to stop? My brain sent the signal, but my finger was like, I can beat the light. And it hit send. It was so depressing, y'all. It was like, in my mind, the check had like a hard life, and it had finally earned its first vacation. And it was trying to take a selfie on the beach, and my dick was photobombing it in the background. But I don't even want to deal with dating apps. Like, I know that's how most people meet these days, and that's fine. I just look at it, and it's not that classic idea of romance we were all taught when we were kids. Like, a dating app is fine, but you think about how your grandparents got together. Everybody in this room, y'all's grandparents all got together the same way. Grandpa and grandma, they all met in a field, running towards each other. Grandpa saw grandma for the first time. He knew she was the one for him. Grandma saw grandpa for the first time. She knew he was the one for her. You juxtapose that idea of true love to what we're gonna be telling our grandkids. Well, grandma said she was down to fuck on Bumble, so I took a shot. DM'd her butt stuff, question mark. The rest is history. The real reason why I'm not pursuing anybody right now, why I enjoy being single, is because I'm so happy with this station in my life and how I get to interact with my family. So I love seeing my brother and his family, my sister and her family, my mom, aunts, uncles. It's a great time. Every time we get together, the Ellis family, we will roast each other. We make fun of each other. We tell stories. We will bring up the dirt on everyone. We sit around, we laugh, we have a great time. There is only one story in the history of Ellis mythology that does not come out at family gatherings, that we never talk about, that is so far back in our collective repressed memory, it has never been spoken about since the day it happened until right now. This is the one. So this is when I had my first serious girlfriend in college. It was a little late. I dated a girl in high school. Her name was Magic the Gathering. And we were home for Easter weekend. And just so you guys know, we're all still friends to this day. But that weekend, parents love her, everything's going great. Sunday morning rolls around, Easter Sunday. And I don't know where my dad, my brother, my sister were. They were off somewhere. So it's just me and my girlfriend eating breakfast in the kitchen, and my mom's there. And my mom says, all right, kids, gonna go to the grocery store, be back in about an hour. Grocery store is at least 20 minutes that way, 20 minutes back. Gotta buy food. It's gonna be about an hour. So at that point, I'm not thinking, hey, it's fuck o'clock. I'm just thinking, man, you really can eat Fruit Loops 7 days a week. But we're alone in the kitchen, and wouldn't you know it, one thing leads to another. The hormones are raging, we're young, we're wild, we're in love. She comes over to me, she starts kissing me. She starts kissing me on the mouth with the tongue. And it's going great. And then she starts kissing me on my neck, and that's even better. Then she starts kissing down here. And once she gets below the nipple line, boys, you know your job as a gentleman is to usher her on her journey southward safely. We're not forcing anything. We're just your tour guide, okay? If you're Lewis and Clark, we're Sacagawea. We're just showing you the best route to get down there. And so now it's happening. Now this thing is happening at the kitchen table. And we're having such a good time, we don't hear the garage door close. I didn't hear it because I was having such a good time. She didn't hear it because at the time her ears were covered. And so my mom had come home, and the way you enter our kitchen, it's like, let's say this is where the action's happening. You can enter our kitchen through here or through here. You can exit through there or through there. So my mom comes in. She has a bag of groceries under each arm. Y'all, she handled it like such a pro. My mom walks in, sees the action, drops the groceries, and just keeps walking. She did it so well that I'm thinking, like, is my mom the coolest wingman of all time? She was not. She was a mom. She was very pissed off. She was very upset to the point where she couldn't speak to me. She couldn't even be in the same room as me for the rest of the day. And then we get to family dinner. Family dinner at the same table. And it was awkward because usually the family dinners at the Ellis household, they were known for mirth, merriment, and laughter. Could be heard for miles. Not this particular evening. It's very awkward. My brother and my sister, they felt something in the air. My mom, I think she took 2 bites for dinner and is like, I'm eating in the laundry room. I can't do this. So she takes off. My brother and my sister leave. My girlfriend does the dishes. And then she goes upstairs. So now it's just me and my dad. Just me and my dad. And my dad had been informed of the day's events. So my dad takes a long sip off his Budweiser, and he says, so the kitchen, huh? And I was like, Dad, I'm sorry. I know Mom's upset. It'll never happen again. I am so horribly embarrassed. And my dad just looks at me and he says, proud of you, boy. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you all very much. Thank you, guys.